Welcome to another training session with FMS Labor Saver. This video is going to show you a full access, a full demo of FMS Labor Saver from the beginning to the end. This will mainly focus on the, where to go to get FMS Labor Saver, what is it, how does it work, how can you effectively use it to increase productivity at your store level. This software has been created for independent retailers to maximize productivity and increase output at store level by department. There's going to be several areas within this video that we will cover. Everything from how to write a effective budget, how does a time clock interface in, how to write a proper schedule, how to view employees, how to know who's all at store at this time, and several other aspects of um, controlling labor and increasing productivity at store level. To get started, Labor Saver does not support any versions of Internet Explorer. So the browsers you use are Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and any other browsers that are out there existing. So any version of Internet Explorer is not supported by Labor Saver. Labor Saver is a time and attendance module for FMS suite of offerings. It's based in the cloud. We believe this approach maximizes return on investment because you don't have any equipment to buy or maintain, any software licensing updates. We will release updates as it's necessary for this product to function properly. It is in a very safe and secure environment, and we manage it internally. So to begin with, let's discuss. We talked about we don't support any other browser. Uh, the only browser we support, let me clarify that. So to get started, here's where we access Labor Saver. Go to www.my, the letters EZSCHEDULE.com. This will bring up our Labor Saver portal for you to sign in. Once you become a member of, once you have access to our product, then this is where you'll come to sign on to Labor Saver. Here, you'll be asked to put in a username, password. Usually will be provided by your store manager, your department manager, chain admin, your corporate admin. They will be able to give you this precise information that's required. Uh, One of the things to clarify here, FMS Labor Saver does not store any passwords, so if you forget a password, your store managers, your store personnel will be able to reset your password, which once it's reset, it'll ask you to save a permanent password again. Again, we do not support any kind of password resets. So if you call help desk, they will just refer you back to your store leadership. So let's get started. Put in your username and password. Once you put it in, if it's wrong, this is the address that'll come up. It'll address you to re-input the information. Once it's accessed, you will see just your store's information. If you're a chain admin, you will see all the chain that's available. This is a product that we created in our development server, and we'll look at what a chain environment looks like. Since you have several stores, we believe this is the environment we need to conduct this testing. So you have all your stores listed here. Once you define store managers, they'll be listed here. This gives you all the department number of employees within the store. So this store, as you can see, there's different numbers here. So each store can be scaled to as many department, as many employees as you require. Some stores tend to be minimalized with small departments. Some larger stores with larger departmental breakdown would require number of other departments. So let's go look at what one of these. By clicking on the departments, you're able to see the complete breakdown of Yummy Foods number one. So number one has 18 people in grocery, cashiers, so on and so forth. Gives you an opportunity to look at the number of employees, and if you needed to look at the employees, you can either toggle here or just click either one of these places to see the number of employees within the store. Most of our focus is going to be on store number 6. So let's go there now. Store number 6 only has 6 departments. And to view employees, you can see employees here. If you have a department that's not being used, you can always go deactivate it here. Just, just like that, it'll be deactivated. That means the department is no longer active within our system. And you might find as a store or your experience with Labor Saver grows, you might want to add a new department. To create a new department, you just create that, click the new department, and put in the department number, department department name, then the department number. Then we would hope that this will comply with the departmental structure within FMS. Then choose which department you want this officers to be allocated to, and you can create that department. So so far we've talked about stores, how the listing of the stores work, departments, and you have as many departments within the store as you would need to manage your store in a granular level. Then how to create a department, which is something that you can manually do yourself. It's based on your needs and what your store supervision would like for you to have. Next pod we're going to look at would be our employees, how to create an employee and how to look at an employee profile. So we'll go there now. So we're going to look at the employees. You can go from here. So this shows all the grocery employees, which are 18 displayed here within the grocery department. So if you want to go see all store employees, you can choose that. Then it will display all the employees within that store. Or if you want to break it down to smaller levels, you want to see just the meat market employees, it will tell you that there's 4 employees and these are the employees listed there. To look at a profile, you go and see that Amanda, a middle initial is required, and password, and last name. Last name is required. Then this field right here would be equal to your current or FMS payroll provider number. So this is an employee number that's either already existing, which you can populate this field with, or you can have a new number generated or any numerical values that you want to place, or if there's a numerical structure you want to follow, you can put that in here. Time clock ID refers to a time clock number that's automatically assigned by the timekeeping system. So you just want to make sure the employees remember this number. In the clock in clock out procedures, it is required that the employee use their employee ID, time clock ID, then it'll require a fingerprint to be enrolled. Since the employee, if you want to check to see what their enrollment looks like, you'll see that this employee is not enrolled, so you can enroll this employee. For our purposes of measuring productivity, hourly or salary classification is made for each employee. Then pay rate. Pay rate, because we do calculate average hourly rate, sales per man hour, labor dollars for each department broken down according to what you currently see. Threshold hours refers to number of hours an employee is allowed to work for a week at a time. So this can be managed for minor employees. Let's say across the United States, the average number of hours a minor employee, which is an employee between 14 and a half and 16 years old, can work. So if it's 18 hours, which is what's described by the federal government as a minimum number of hours an employee or maximum number of hours a minor employee can work. So we would set this at like 15. When this employee reaches 15 hours, an alert will be sent to their store manager and the department manager, just alerting them that this employee has reached these threshold hours. If it's a part-time employee, for you to maintain part-time status for an employee, you can put in 30 hours for a maximum of 90 days is considered full-time. So to manage that, we recommend you put in something similar to 24 hours. This employee reaches 24 hours, same criteria are met. An alert is generated by the system and sent to the appropriate personnel. For full timers, we would recommend something like 32 or 35 hours. Same criteria follows here. Since you see that there's date of hire, date of birth, we do announce birthdays and anniversaries. This is just a way for you to recognize your employees and to make sure that you have a awareness that these employees are reached this time. This field right here is for any notes that you might want to put on an employee. This is visible by store management only. So be careful what you put in here because this is a read only field. Once it's entered in here, it's in here for good. Active part-time, full-time status are also recognized here. You want to make sure you maintain this status. Every employee will finish out their address in these cells here. Now, every employee does have an opportunity to receive notifications from the program. If they don't have email or text message, or they choose not to, you can choose NA, then none of these fields are required here. For email, we require an accurate email address here. That's how the employee communication would be within the program and that employee. Text message, we require a local or a national cell carrier and who that carrier is. We do not support any of the fly-by-night throwaway phones as they're referred to. So just make sure that this information is filled in accurately. Gender selection is important just so you can see what status of male to female employees are within your store. Username can be anything that the employee wants. If there is not a naming sequence, you can always use first initial, last name. If the cell turns yellow, which is warning you that username is already in use, then you must choose another one. Password is something that system generates automatically, an initial setup. We have the opportunity to set up passwords. So it'd be 123 123. Then you choose reset password and save. Once this top part is filled out, the availability portion of the program kicks in. This determines, or you can set, depending on employee, what days they're available to work. If there's a specific time they have out of school activities or after school activities, you can set that here to avoid any overscheduling. We do have a feature that we have not seen anywhere. It's a split schedule. So if you have this is for college students mainly. If you have a class in the morning, class in the evening, but you have midday open, this allows you to schedule accordingly, and the schedule will be blocked according to how they're scheduled. Once this is set, you can actually go in, choose your roles. Every person that's hired has a role, and this is for a corporate environment. You can create all employee profile from one locations. So you choose the role, the store, and you decide what department that they belong to. Then assign that role. Once that's complete, employee hiring process is complete. Once this is complete, we will move on to our next subject, which will be budgets. Budget refers to a weekly budget for the future week of sales, not labor, not anything else. So we're going to see what a budget looks like. To create a budget, you go here, choose the day your payroll week starts. You enter the budgeted sales amount here, which it will track maybe a little bit differently from store to store, but mainly you have two high weeks at the first of the month of sales and two slower weeks. So this gives you a good idea of how to create. So this is midweek 417, so the sales are going to be a little bit slower. So let's say your sales are going to be $250,000. Then this gives you 6 weeks worth of data, that budget data that you can copy from. What do I mean by copy? This is a distributions only copy. You create that week since that coincides with this week right here, and you create the budget. When distributions are mentioned in this context, talking about where all the departments are, where do you want their wages allocated to. You can change it at any given time. And then we're talking about distributions. What percent of the pie does uh, meat department, deli bakery, and produce represents? Everything else is either grocery budget, like cashiers belong to grocery budget. If you wanted to change that distribution, where do you want their wages to come from? Store budget. And then you can do that here as well. Officers, same thing. Once that budget is created, you can go ahead and create the budget and you're ready to go. When you get close to on the week of the 16th or the 10th or 12th, you want to take this budget from draft to publish status. What that means is just you're committed to that budget and you want to make those changes. Once those changes are made, you're ready to continue on with our next step, which is to move on to writing a schedule. So when we look at the schedule writing, we're going to talk about the week that's coming up. So we're going to mainly focus on the meat market, and you'll remember that there's $55,000 already budgeted for that department. When we open up, or the meat department guy sits to write the schedule, the manager, this number will already be populated in that section for him. To write a schedule for that week, here's how you get to the schedules. You'll see that we store records for 3 years. So that gives you an opportunity to go back and view any schedule. So all you do is drop this to archive. It displays all the past schedules. And if you just want to focus on one department, choose here and you'll just see the meat department schedules. But we're going to focus on draft and publish, so we're going to create a new schedule. So to create a new schedule, you just click this button. Since we focused on the meat department, we're going to also go to the week that we said we would choose. This gives you an opportunity to copy a schedule from previous weeks. So again, we've used the same principles. You choose a similar week with similar sales, copy that schedule, and you create a schedule. What you'll notice is it brings the schedule over, but it does not do anything with the numbers that are presented here. Once you copy the schedule, then you can start looking at some of the key areas. One thing you'll notice with Labor Saver is none of the employees are classified in alphabetical order. This is so that you can set the schedule up by using this up and down elevator to put the people in the order that you currently have them in. Once you have them in the correct order, go down to the bottom, save the schedule and budget. This is a key common mistake made by a lot of people. They will write a schedule, then they will forget to save the schedule and budget. Even when you have to walk away in the middle of writing a schedule, we do recommend that you save the schedule and budget. Once that's complete, we have to start preparing for the next week. First thing we want to talk about is loaning out. Loaning out is equal to, if you want an employee to go to another store, you choose a store, you choose the department that employee is to work in, and you click loan out. Once that's created, opens up the window, and you can schedule that employee. To write a schedule, it is simple as 8A to 11A. System will automatically know to split that. Then let's say it's 12P to 4P. This hour is taken for lunch purposes, and you'll see that this person is only working 7 hours at the store. Tells you Martha is loaned out to Yummy Foods as a cashier at number 3. What happens when this employee, when you create this and save the schedule, Martha will appear on number 3 schedule automatically. She'll be the number 1 position on the schedule to remind the store manager or the department head that there's a loaned out employee coming their way. So you made a mistake and this employee is not to be loaned out. You just click that button, the loan out goes away from both stores. So let's start looking at the right side. This is the area where you can really impact what happens at store level. Here's that $55,000 that we projected and brought over. If there's a change either up or down, you want to make that note here. So if it's 59,000, you enter that number here. So everything from here on out will work off the 59,000 number, not the 55. So that is an override feature that's given to store department heads with consulting the manager so that they can arrive at a good figure. Target labor percent should be given to the department heads by store manager or their supervision. So let's just say it's 7.5%. This gives you a target number of labor dollars that is expected to create a productive department. For you to run $55,000, we're saying 7.5% of the 55,000, which is going to equal to the labor dollars that supported this store. And based on the target sales per man hour, we're just going to use a figure. Let's just say it's 350. What this means is 350 is a target. It gives us a number of hours we can use to maintain $55,000 worth of sales. So in our world, this becomes our target number. Our scheduled hours cannot exceed 157 hours. Since we copied the schedule, you can see a 9-hour window is given 9 hours of worth of extra. If you need to use it, is given here. That concludes this portion of the demo. This is a full demo. We've covered over a lot of things, and I'm sure if this has done anything, it's created more questions than answers. So please reach out to us at 877-435-9400, extension 1249. That's our time clock division. Please reach out to us if you have any questions or further discussions, or maybe even to request a one-on-one demo so that we're able to better explain to you what this program can do for you. It really does increase productivity, but just like anything else, you want to make sure this tool, which is given to you, to be used properly. Once you use it, once you learn the basics and how to get the mechanics down of this program will open up so many areas, so many windows that will give you pinpoint areas of that you're doing great, and also pinpoint areas where you can really use the program to help manage your store in a very, very timely manner. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.